morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I am Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Thursday, December 14th, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. We'll get to Kyle Shanahan's weekly press conference and scouting report in a minute. But first, we begin, as we always do, with the injury report, and we are getting into some dangerous territory here. 9 players missed practice for the 49ers yesterday, including 6 on the defensive side of the ball. Eric Armstead, Mooney Ward, Javon Hargrave, Oren Burks, Dre Greenlaw, Ambry Thomas, Ross Dwelly, and Spencer Burford all could not go due to injury. Trent Williams also did not practice. Luckily, that was not due to injury. It was just due to rest. Oh, by the way, Elijah Mitchell was limited. That is a lot of people out for the 49ers. Hopefully, some of them can return in time to play the Cardinals. Think about it. 9 people. That's almost an entire side of the ball that didn't practice. I know the Cardinals stink, but you're going to need somebody to play. Anyway, let's move on. Let's head over to Kyle Shanahan's press conference now, shall we? Enough about the MVP stuff. I feel like we've talked about that a lot. We still have a game to play on Sunday. You're going up against the Cardinals. You can clinch the NFC West with a win. So, Kyle, what is the biggest difference in Arizona now as opposed to when you played them earlier in the season in week 4?
They're doing the exact same stuff. They're just better at everything. I got a lot of respect of how they've done this year. I thought they were real tough at the beginning of the year. I thought we had to play flawless on offense to beat them, but that was a real tight game. And since then, they have how many ever games it is, 9 more games of reps. They're playing very hard. They're playing together. They've added some really good players, especially Buddha, who they didn't have. I think they've always been real talented on special teams. They've also gotten a very great talented quarterback back. And they remind me of a lot of us our first year, where we started out 0-9 and finished 6-10. I think everything they're doing is the right way, and I think they're a real tough football team.
You might remember that matchup ended up being 31-16, but it was actually a 1-score game going into the fourth quarter. Hopefully, it's obviously not as close this time. Moving on, Kyle, you mentioned Kyler Murray in that spot. Can you stop him scrambling the way you stopped Jalen Hurts from scrambling?
They're different. I mean, he's still a huge threat to run every time, but there's a little different style in how they play and stuff. He is a problem. Anyway, we all know how fast and quick he is, and if you give him, no matter what you do in coverage, if you give him those open gaps, he's going to get 15 faster than anybody.
Kyler Murray has run for about 53 yards in his 5 meetings with the 49ers. Last one for you now. I played a soundbite earlier this week where Brock Purdy said he noticed Jamal Adams being flat-footed on Deebo Samuel's long touchdown on Sunday. Kyle Shanahan was asked about that level of perception from Brock Purdy.
I think that's the talent in Brock that you can't always judge. I think vision and stuff is very important and doesn't just go into, is he 20/20? There's different types of vision of, looking outside wide, coming in, just the words I never know. But it's a big deal how your eyes see things. And I think Brock recognizes this stuff and the speed of things and levels, and he knows the whole and the defenders and what they should defend. But it's always there's a progression. It's this play is going to go to here, but that guy might not do his job. And so you got to feel that. Make sure if he does his job, we're going to number 2. That's what he usually does. And Brock went to number 1, which hadn't been there on tape, but he wasn't backing up, and we had a fast guy in the slot, and you better back up. And he hesitated a little bit, and Brock saw that, and so he doesn't memorize and guess. He kind of sees it and reacts, and that's the coolest thing about him.
I thought that was a really cool explanation of how to play quarterback and how you can make all the assumptions and everything before the snap, but once the ball is snapped, you still have to double check, essentially, because if you miss somebody that's open on an earlier read, you don't have time to go back and throw them the ball. So that's really cool that Brock can be able to do that, and hopefully he keeps getting better and better at it the more he plays. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Thursday. The latest battle between the 49ers and the city of Santa Clara was decided last month. The 49ers won it. If you want the details, you can click the link in the description. It is not good news for a lot of kids in Santa Clara. One thing to watch, according to Vivid Seats, the fan forecast, Niners fans are going to make up at least 61% of the crowd Sunday in Arizona, and it'll probably be more by the time we get to the game. One thing you may have missed, the NFL awarded a 2024 regular season game to Brazil and decided to expand the slate of international games from 4 up to 8 games beginning in 2025. In case you're wondering, the time in Sao Paulo, Brazil is 5 hours ahead of the Pacific time zone. So let's hope those games don't start too early, or you'll be waking up with your breakfast and the 49ers. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. If you leave a review, I promise you I will read it on the show. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Click the little bell so you get notified when we go live, which is every single weekday, including today when the human wet blanket, Levin Black, will join me 10 a.m. Pacific time. Please come. Please bring your questions. It is a ton of fun. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.